Hi, I'm David and welcome to Leisure Bit, and today we're going to be fitting a leisure battery to vehicle battery maintainer, which basically keeps the vehicle battery topped up. Ideal if you're putting your van in storage or whatever and you've got a solar panel, but also great on site as it just transfers a little bit of power from the leisure battery to the vehicle battery if you're on charge or if you've got the solar on and there's sufficient power to transfer across. So let's take a look. So I ended up going for this Sterling Power Products one, but there are a number of different varieties. In the previous motorhome we had, I fitted a Battery Master, which worked really well as well. I went for this one because it had slightly more power output fed to the vehicle battery. So this one feeds up to 3 amps through, whereas the Battery Master was just over an amp. So I thought a little bit more power, and then if you've got the radio or something on in the cab, if you maybe sat there listening to the radio, it should feed enough power through just to keep it topped up, or that was the theory anyway. And I'm planning on fitting this just near the electrical box, because I should be able to pick up the suitable connections and run them nicely and neatly out the way. When I got the van, it actually had just up above here, there's actually a feed to the vehicle battery up at the top there, which I may actually pull through and use. I'm just trying to work out the routing at the moment, but we'll see as we go through. Originally thought about fitting it up in the cupboard at the top there. The reason I didn't is, one, space is a premium in a camper van obviously, and I'd have had to move it further down because there's not enough room to get it right up at the top there. But I thought it's actually probably easy just to be tucked away near the kind of consumer unit or power box, because you don't really need to have a look at it apart from to check periodically and just drop the flap on the door down and have a look at it. So I'm going to fit that and just screw it onto the wall, but we'll see as we go through there. So the benefits of having one of these is it keeps your vehicle battery topped up by using any surplus power that would be going into the leisure battery, but when it's full it starts diverting it to the vehicle battery, or when it's nearly full if there's sufficient power, and that just keeps the vehicle battery topped up as well. And I'm changing the solar controller from the one that's in there that actually feeds both batteries, it's a dual one, to a different one that supports lithium. So that's the reason for changing that, and also the need to change this over, because I still wanted to keep the vehicle battery topped up because it tends to keep the batteries in good condition. Anyway, let's get on with the job. So I've removed the cover and taken the screws out which hold the little lats that sit above there. So to remove this, we simply take out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. So with the 4 screws removed, we can just lift that off and get into the works there. Now on the battery to battery converter, we're just going to change the setting here from AGM over to lithium by just putting a little screwdriver in and just pushing it across. So here's the B to B converter. I ended up taking it off to have a look and make sure it was set to lithium, which you can see there. Also, to give a bit more space, I've removed the battery to battery converter, and I'm going to put that back on, but just move it over very slightly, just to give plenty of room. I've decided the best place to fit it is just down the back here, towards the bottom there, because then I can run the cables nice and neatly. So what I'm going to do now as the first job is, I'm just going to get that screwed on at the bottom there, so it's fixed in place. And then I'm just using some fairly short screws just to make sure that we don't go through into the bathroom. So I'll get on with that now. I actually used this little screwdriver just to put the screws in, and I used 16mm long, which seem about the right depth not to go through to the bathroom. So there we go. You can see it's fastened in there. So we connected the orange wire into the positive of the starter battery side to connect it back to the starter battery, and then we just screw it back on. And see the screws in the corners there. Lifted it up a bit so that we've got room to fit the converter in. So I decided to fit a 10 amp circuit breaker for the vehicle and the leisure battery, which you can see there, just to make sure it's nice and safe. You'll also notice that I've got the new power supply unit there just to show you where I've connected it to, which we'll cover in another video. I've also got a positive and negative coming out that actually feeds through to this breaker here, which is the leisure feed for the battery to battery top up, the battery maintainer there. And then the other side of that comes out, and then there's a connection to the starter battery, positive connection there to feed through to that. Now I'm going to tidy these wires up, but I just thought I'd show you before I get them all fastened in how that's been connected up. So I've just tidied that up now with some conduit down here and a bit of conduit down there, just so we've not got wires all over the shop. To remove the top, you simply remove that screw and that screw, and to remove the back cover there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws just down the back there. Just going to put this cover back on because I had to take it off when I was fishing through the wires there, so I'll just put that back on and then we'll put the top cover on as well. So that's all that back together. So there we go, we've fitted the battery to battery maintainer just down there, so it's nicely out of the way, but you can still see it if you just open the flap on the side here. We put 2 breakers in, 10 amp ones, so that we can isolate the leisure or the vehicle battery side as we need to, and just for safety. And we've connected it to the leisure battery and to the vehicle battery using sensible points, and it will vary depending on your vehicle and your setup. So that now then makes sure that we're keeping the vehicle battery topped up with any excess power from the leisure battery. So that's the battery to battery maintainer to keep us topped up so we're ready to go, and don't end up where we can't start the van because it's run down. It's particularly helpful because I'm using parking mode on the dash cam, which draws some power, so it just makes sure we're just keeping that topped up because you don't want to be in a situation where the van won't start. So that's that job complete. We'll continue on in the series. We've got the installation of the battery itself, we've got the kind of protection and distribution system I've put in place that we'll cover off in another video as well, and we'll cover off how to install the charger as well. So don't forget, before undertaking any of this work, make sure you're confident and competent in electrical work. If in doubt, get an auto electrician to fit it for you. That's the battery to battery maintainer fitted. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!